Hey, how you going there? Neil Breen. Neil Breen. Neil Breen is a name I first heard about a year ago. It was on a YouTube channel called Fanboy Flicks. He reviews bad movies, and he reviewed a film called I Am Here Now. And he followed that up with a review of a film called Fateful Findings, which is what I'm going to review today. And now I've been meaning to check these out ever since hearing about them because they looked so fucking awful. I actually got a request on my channel. Someone commented in my review I did for The Room, of course, asking if I could review any more bad movies, and made some suggestions, Birdemic, etc. And then and they said, "Have you heard of Neil Breen?" I'm like, "Of course I have." Yeah. So this review is for Gina Gigi, who requested I review another bad film in the comment section on my review for The Room. So I hope you appreciate it because it was a fucking quite the ordeal. Fateful Findings. How can you describe Fateful Findings? Okay, the film begins. We see a boy and a girl like arsing about through the woods. The boy is a young version of Neil Breen's character in this, and they come across a big mushroom. And as they discover this mushroom, you see this ghost fart just like waft through the trees for some reason, through the woods. So little Breen is like, "Hey, look, Leah, a mushroom." This is how long he's actually just like this. It cuts to the mushroom, and he's just like, "See, look at that."
Look, Leah, a mushroom.
The reason it's so long is because we have to wait for this transition effect, where the mushroom turns into a little jewel box with it's like a piece of onyx in it, a little black stone. Yeah, so little Breen's little girlfriend, she writes in a fucking journal she's got, "It's a magical day." That appears to be the only thing that's written in this diary, this journal. Then we go to Leah, Breen's girlfriend, little Breen's girlfriend. She has to move away, and so we get this goodbye scene between little Breen. Breen's character is called Dylan in this, so I'll just refer to him as Dylan. So we got this goodbye scene between Leah and Dylan. So they're waving goodbye to each other, little Dylan, little Breen, and his little girlfriend Leah, and it's the most spasticated wave I've ever seen. It's like like that, and she's like waving out the car window, and she's like fucking, she's like doing that. It's more like a Roman salute, you know. And he's like, "Lieutenant Dan, magic words." Oh yeah, and this little Dylan also it goes like, "Ah shit." He don't say "oh shit," but it makes this like this shrug like that. It's like, "Ah, darn it. No, I'll never get pussy." So yeah, we have a little voiceover from Breen saying, "Oh, Leah was the love of my life, blah blah, and when she went away, I never saw her again." Then we fucking cut directly to Neil Breen, Dylan, as he is now, like a man, you know. And he's on the phone to his wife or his girlfriend, whichever they are. And he goes to cross the road, which is weird because there's only him stood at the curb in one shot, and another shot there's like a bunch of fucking feet crossing the road. Then back to the shot of him just alone on the curb. So he's walking across the road, and this Rolls Royce is like coming towards him, and he does this like turn of the head. He's like, Well, first he drops his phone or his pager. It looks like a fucking pager. It's weird. Like, I don't know what the fuck it is. Drops his phone anyway. So stupid time to pick it up. This Rolls Royce is coming towards him. So he pulls like a blue steel. I call it a Breen steel. He goes like.
Can you hear me?
And then his car fucking plows into him, which I laughed at because it just looks so funny. You know, you have to see it to appreciate it. But yeah, so he's on the road unconscious. Small crowd gathers around it, and they're all like,
Call 911. Call 911.
Is he dead? Is he dead?
It's the Rolls Royce that hit him. I saw it. I'm a witness.
It's, oh, you're a witness, are you? And the car's still there. It's not a hit and run, it's a hit and stay, if that's the thing. And the fucking back door of this car opens, and this porn actress gets out from vest on, no bra, fucking tits, nipples pointing out, and high heels and all that shit. You don't see her head. And she walks up to Neil Breen's Neil Breen unconscious, and she, what the fuck? Can't remember if a ghost fart comes out of her, and then she like makes this black pebble appear in Breen's hand, Dylan's hand. I'll call him Breen because he is the Breen. So yeah, that fucking happens. So Breen gets taken to hospital. He has this big fucking. It's not even a bandage. It's it's a bandage around his head, and then it's almost like a massive sanitary pad over his face, covering his mouth and like half his face. He looks like the fucking Dark Man or some shit. And he only had like injuries to his head and that. Why is his mouth covered up? You're blocking an airway. He's got two fucking little holes for his nose. You're covering his mouth with it. It just looks fucking bonkers. His wife / girlfriend and his mate come to the hospital and say, "Oh, fucking hell, what's going on?"
He's in critical condition. Unconscious.
I can see why you're a fucking doctor. I want to guess that myself. And then this blonde chick, this other doctor, she comes up and she says, he's not my patient, but I'll keep an eye on him anyway. It's like, well, okay, what the fuck. So yeah, all goes past. Then Breen wakes up out of his coma. He unplugs all his IVs and that, which incidentally aren't actually intravenously in him. It's like these little plastic tubes sellotaped to his wrist. It's in the note there, as well as the air mask that's over the fucking cast he's got on his face. That's how I don't. Yeah, and the feeding tube doesn't actually go into his nose. Anyway, all this bullshit. So yeah, Breen, he gets out of bed, flashes his ass in a bit of bollock sack as he walks past his bed. Then he goes home and he gets in the shower. And I don't know if Norman Bates is in there with him because there's fucking blood just pouring down his leg. This shot of blood. It's like, where's all this coming from? It's not. He's still got this big fucking bandage over his face and that, and it only had blood on it when he got into the shower. It seemed to be fairly clean before. Yeah, so he's in the shower, just like, I don't know, showering, bleeding to death.
What are you doing home? You're supposed to be in a hospital.
I let myself out. Help me. Help me.
Then they have this really like awkward crap little waltz in the shower, and like Breen's in the nuddy. It's just this really uncomfortable kind of. Then what fucking happens?
I have a damn master's degree in computer science, and I turn out to be a writer of novels.
You're doing probably what's one of the most respectable things you could probably do. you know, being a writer of novels, and you're pissing and whinging about it because you've got a degree in computer science. Then we're kind of introduced to the neighbours or friends of the family. Fucking... On my notes it says hot tits and the drunk.
Can I offer you a drink?
No thanks.
Hot tits is... she wears no bra. Her husband is the drunk.
We don't have sex anymore. Do you realize that?
Where did that come from?
Pestering her, saying, "Oh, you don't spend enough time with me," and that. And she moans about having incontinence.
I love you.
I'm very busy.
So that's just a little introduction to those two characters. Then we're back to Neil Breen in his office, and he's saying, "Where's me pills, my medication?" Unspecified medication. I'm assuming it's what he got at the hospital for his pain or whatever. But then he decides he doesn't need them anymore and throws them down the bog. Doesn't flush the bog, just leaves pills there. Then the wife goes in, fishes the pills out the bog because it turns out she's got a pill problem. Then we see like bin liners, garbage bags, whatever, like just everywhere. It's supposed to be this black. I'm assuming it's his inner sanctum. It is in the inside of his mind or something. I don't know what the fuck it is, but it looks like a dodgy porn set. He's in the niff. He's in the niff, like sat down. Then he goes to see his psychologist. For some reason, this psychologist sees his patients in a boardroom. It's the most impersonal fucking thing ever. And his psychologist is saying, "Why don't you take your medication? Why the fuck doesn't my jacket fit me?"
I offered you medication that would help you.
I'm feeling less stable.
Neil Breen's back at his fucking computer. He's just tap, 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 hit, tap, and he's got his mug of coffee. Passes out a little bit, and his coffee manages to get his coffee cup sat down on the laptop. Then he comes out of it, and then his first thought is, "Oh, I'll have a sip of coffee." Fucking hell. Then we go to fucking hot tits and the drunk. Jim, the drunk's called. I can't remember what the wife's called. But yeah, Jim's like Neil Breen's best friend or something for a while. Yeah, so him and Jim and hot tits are arguing again. She's arguing that he doesn't spend time with her, which is weird because it was like the opposite way around in the previous scene they were in. Breen's missus invites Jim and hot tits round for dinner. You know, Jim, hot tits, and their young daughter.
I'm so glad you could all come for dinner.
We're glad to visit.
Holy fuck. It's like watching androids kind of interact.
I want you to try this new wine.
I'd love to try your wine.
Like, you know, the level of acting in this, it's non-existent.
I still can't believe you're up and around so fast.
That is amazing.
Like, you'd have to make an effort to act as poorly as they do in this.
Dinner will be ready soon.
I'm hungry. I can't wait for dinner.
It doesn't make sense. You know, anyone could do this. I don't know, I'd assume so anyway. But yeah, it's like watching fucking robots have a tea party.
Can I have some wine, please?
How's school?
Almost done.
It's fucking bonkers, man. It's bonkers. The dinner party ends abruptly because Neil gets an headache. Then the next scene we go to, it's Breen is talking to himself.
I've got so much to do I'll never get done. I'm going to continue hacking into these government systems to see what I can find out about all this national and international corruption I know is going on.
Where the fuck did this come from? There's the Black Pebble, the ghost farts, so there's all this very paranormal vibe to this. Then we're treated to some more fucking Oscar-worthy acting when Breen and his wife are arguing about her pill popping.
We've gone through the good times and the bad times together. I've given it my all. I've gone out of my way to make you happy.
You know, I've never intended it to turn out this way. I tried to get off the pills. I just can't do it.
Your pill taking for pain relief has gotten out of control.
Again, you have to see it to believe it.
It's a crutch. Get off the pills. Straighten your life out.
Yeah, the acting is... It's not there.
Don't turn away. Let's talk.
Oh god, this isn't going too well, is it? Fuck it, I'm gonna plough on anyway. Yeah, so straight after they have this argument, the wife goes into Neil's little office when he's at his laptop, and she's saying, "You never spend time with me," or some bullshit. And so then they start just like having this giggly, start tearing at each other's clothes and laughing, like a prelude to his shag, I'm assuming, but it's supposed to be like this romantic bit. And Breen starts throws his laptops down, starts tossing pages of presumably some manuscript about, and he holds this really weird like smile at one point. And he's like, "Hey, look at me! Look, I'm throwing my work away. I don't care about that. You know, let's fuck." So after this prelude to a daft shag bit, Neil Breen goes to see another shrink. This time it's some old biddy, and she's telling him about these powers. She knows about these powers he's got.
You were given a power. It's in the wind.
What's in the wind? What's the fucking wind got? Is she on about the ghost fart? Is she on about any farts? Is it in Breen's wind? But yeah, anyway, she's like a kind of some like a mysterious, mystical old bastard. Anyway, this character, well, it's not even a character; it's a pair of legs. A pair of legs with some feet, black shoes, I call it. He just randomly pops up throughout the film, just like a pair of black bottom legs with feet. And I don't know if that's meant to be death or something, but why would it be, or what the fuck is this thing anyway? But yeah, it just keeps popping up randomly. Then Breen is having an argument with his missus again. She accuses him of having an affair.
I knew it. There is another girl.
No, that is not true.
Well, you've got me fucking convinced, man. That's all I can say about that. After some more bullshit, they decide to invite the neighbours, their friends, around to a barbecue by the pool. So there's Jim and Hot Tits there, and the blonde nurse from the hospital when Breen was in the hospital. The blonde is the doctor, the female doctor who wasn't in charge of his case but decided to keep an eye on him anyway. She shows up at the fucking party with a dopey fiance.
I'd like you to meet my fiance, Tim.
I'll go get us a drink to celebrate.
And it's like, well, who invited her? How do they know it? They don't know each other. How would Breen know her? How would Breen know? Because he was unconscious. But he recognises her at the party, but Breen was unconscious the whole time until he woke up and fucked off out of the hospital. He never saw her. But he's like, hey, look, it's the fucking, it's what's her face from the hospital. Breen's talking with the female doctor, the blonde chick. Phone goes off and she pulls it out of her pocket. And she's also got his little diary in there. It falls out, flops open. It says it's a magical day in there. And it turns out this fucking Leah chick is Breen's childhood sweetheart, the girl we saw at the beginning. And she still carries this fucking diary that she had when she was 8, in which she only wrote it's a magical day.
Is this yours?
Yes, it's just something I've been carrying for good luck.
Oh my God.
I know you. And she's like, what the fuck? Oh.
Is that you? It is, isn't it? It's you, Leah.
Anyway, I'm just gonna get through this. Oh yeah, Jim's drunk at the party, and he starts like kind of coming on to Breen's missus, and she kind of pushes him away, and he bumps into the corn and the sausages and knocks them over. There's a lot. It always shows a lot of like shots of the legs, you know, and in reacting to like, oh fuck, I did something daft again when I'm drunk. He just goes. You just see his arms going like, what can you do, you know? So yeah, we go from that, and yeah, we go straight from that of Jim knocking the food over and being pissed to them all doing the fucking Leah, Breen's squeeze doing it like we've got to go now, but cheers, and everything's fine. The narrative structure of this, there is no narrative structure. It's up and down. It's up and down. It's fucking everywhere. It's like a fiddler's elbow. Yeah. Then we go on to this next scene, and it just shows the Jim and Hot Tits' daughter. She goes into the Breen's swimming pool. She just takes her bra off, and then she's like, Dylan. And he's like, what the fuck? Because he sees her out the window. Then she goes into the house, starts running her bath, takes her clothes off, and then Neil's behind her. He's like, what the? And she's just like, yeah, I want you. That kind of shit. She doesn't say it, but so you know, moral hero that Breen is. He like picks up a towel and puts it around her. And we get this really awkward scene where he's like,
Please stop. You can't do this. Please, don't do it anymore.
and she breaks the fourth wall. I'm not sure if it's intentional. Maybe it was intentional. A lot of people assume it's just her looking for direction, maybe. But it could be just her breaking the fourth wall. Maybe he told her to break the fourth wall deliberately. You're looking at the audience and thinking, what am I doing? I don't know. But again, it's another scene that has nothing to do with the story of this. I don't know what the fucking story is, to be honest. No one does. It's trying to tell a few different stories, but none of them make sense and none of them mesh with one another. Jim and Hot Tits are arguing again. So Jim's got a drink and Hot Tits has got a drink. They're having an argument. She chucks a drink on him, so he chucks his drink on her. But he's got his a little glass of vodka or something like that. And he just lobs it, and it all lands on one tit.
Stay away from me.
So it soaks it, and you can see the tit through the top she's wearing. that just made me laugh. I thought that was very funny. That wasn't meant to be, I'm assuming. It's just the way he lobs it. He don't leave it alone. It just goes like, it just sort of perfectly splats her on the tit. So Jim goes to work on his car, his fucking Ferrari, and his wife gets pissy. And she gets a gun that they've got hidden under the bed, and she's like, "You never spend time with me." So she goes, "I'm going to shoot this car full of holes."
No!
Body looks like something out of Cluedo. Clue. It's the most generic corpse position there is. It's like fucking Agatha Christie might find him or something. It's like, oh, he got battered to death with a cucumber sandwich.
You killed him.
Don't look! Dad!
One of the most atrocious bits of acting. Coincidentally, Breen at that precise moment, he comes round to borrow a cup of sugar or some bullshit. Oh god, I don't know why. Just happens to come around at that time, and he hears the gunshot, and so he goes into the garage, and the wife's like, he committed. Oh yeah, the wife sets it up to make it look like he killed himself, Jim, and and then this bit is,
Jim, how could you have done this, Jim? I can't believe you committed suicide. I cannot believe you committed suicide. How could you have done this? How could you have committed suicide?
Yeah, I can't believe he's committed suicide either, Neil. That is... When I talk about you can't act that badly, organically, naturally, surely it takes effort to deliver such a non-performance.
I can't help you out of this one, Jim. With all we've been through, I can't pull you out of this one.
But, what, you can't help him out of being dead? Well, fuck me, Breen. I thought you could do shit like that. You are Super Breen, are you not? But no, apparently, you can't help him out of this one. And he says, we've been through a lot. Goodbye, my friend, goodbye. And it's got this kind of almost mournful. It reminds me of a war film where two army buddies, one of them gets shot in battle, and they're all like, "Oh, I'll see you, semper fi, motherfucker." Oh god, it's fucking ridiculous. So then we cut back to Breen. He's in his fucking office again, and he says again, "I cannot believe Jim committed suicide." He says, "Oh, it's just so unlike him." What, killing himself so unlike him? He never did it before. yeah. And for some reason, Breen's wife blames herself for Jim's suicide. Oh, I pushed him too far by telling him to stop grabbing my ass at the barbecue. It's like, what did this?
You're better off without me.
She's losing her mind, and she I don't fucking know. I don't know. I can't. It's a fucking, such a bombardment of shit that it's fucking muddled up in my brain. So yeah, Lady Breen's wife, she comes into his office, says, "I'm losing my mind." He starts pushing his books off. I can't even remember how that scene ends. That might be how it ends. Then after that, Breen goes to visit both his shrinks again. The first one, the beardy old git with the short sleeves on his jacket. He's like, "Why don't you take your medication? Take it. Take the fucking pills." And he goes to see this other one, the old biddy one, and I can't remember. She starts rabbiting on about his power of the flatulence or some bullshit like that. Oh, and then Breen's walking along the lake, and he bumps into Leia, his childhood sweetheart, again. And they end up going back to the woods where they went as children, and they go back to where they found the mushroom. There's another mushroom there. They end up having a shag. We don't show it, but again, it just shows them like tearing at each other's clothes a bit like that. Like really awkwardly, and then Breen's like hugging her, and he's like, this fucking this righteous Breen face. Like, I love everybody. I love my God, my world. While this is going on, Breen's wife ODs on pills. She dies. To which is really fucking, is really broken up about.
Emily! 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 Emily!
Then we go to, I've got it in my notes, it just says spinach scene. And this is an anathema. What it is no dialogue. It shows Breen's Breen's moved fucking his childhood sweetheart into the house now. Since Lady Breen's OD'd, you know, she's been fucking buried or whatever. So there's both sat in Breen's office, and Breen's just like looking at one another, and Breen's got a plate of spinach by the looks of it. He just starts eating his spinach and looking at him like, oh. And then he puts this plate of spinach precariously on these books. The books fall, the spinach, the plate tips, and the spinach like falls off. And the fucking Leah, his new missus, she's like, oh, and Breen's like, oh. And then they both smile. She smiles at him, and then he gives this really creepy smile back, like, ugh. And that's that scene, I think. Oh no, it's not. No, because then he tells her that his planet is hacking into the government and the corporate secrets, national and international corruption. He tells her that, and she's like, "Be careful, they'll come after you." And it's like, who will? What the? No details to how or what he's hacking into, and no details or anything. And anyway, so yeah, next up we've got this scene where Leah is coming back to the house, the Breen household, and she gets accosted by this dude who's been hired to kidnap her. And this dude, he don't fucking, what the fuck? He comes up to kidnap her. He does a little jig in front of it. He comes up to her like, and she's like almost forcing herself into him. Like, go on, grab me, you can't kidnap me. Oh, and this dude's got a little card on it that says, take the kidnapped victim to this address, signed fucking so and so, which conveniently falls out his pocket. So then Neil comes back a bit later, Breen, and he finds this. Well, he finds Leah's handbag. He finds this card with the address on it. It turns out it's just this fucking the place where they've got her holed up. It's like a freight container, shipping container, and this kidnapper's for some reason he's just passed out at the front, sat outside of it like drunk. Breen just like hits him over the head with a beer bottle, and then he teleports into the shipping container. Exactly. There's been all this weird shouting around him, like, you know, ghost farts and black trousers people, and, you know, being run over by porn stars, but no mention of teleportation, no mention of that ability. So he does that. I think it's with the power of the black pebble, the onyx, or whatever. I think. How he knew he could do that, I do not know. Anyway, he teleports into the shipping container. He rescues. Well, he says to Leah, "I'm going to get you out of here, but I need you to put the blindfold back on." And it's like, what? So she can't see him teleport, or teleport to both of them. But he also gets her to put the gag back on as well. It's like, what the fuck? So yeah, he rescues her. They teleport out of the shipping container. Then we're back. The next scene, we're back at the Breen house. Jim and Hot Tits' daughter's there. She comes on to Breen again. He pushes away, but then she says, "Oh, the police are at my house." Questioning my mother. You know that Jim didn't. You know my dad didn't kill himself. She shot him, and he's like, "You've got to tell the police." And yeah, and then it's night time. I mean, Breen and new Lady Breen, Leah Breen, are in fucking bed, and the black trousers, black shoes shows up again. He drops a ghost fart. You see it waft across their bed. I think Leah might even get a whiff of it. Then he starts making the mirrors and like paintings in the house shake. It's all very paranormal activity. Breen wakes up in the middle of the night. Then we cut to him being in his car, and he's left Leah a phone message saying he's had to go away telling her not to worry, but he says it repeatedly. It's like, don't worry, there's nothing to worry about. I assure you there is nothing to worry about. Totally nothing to worry about. It's like, yeah, that automatically makes somebody worry more. So yeah, he goes out to the desert, and he sees this big book that we see at the very beginning of the film. I'm not sure what this book is. It's just a massive fucking book with like a lock on it, and it's on like this little table. It's out here in the middle of the desert now for some fucking reason.
Should I be afraid? Should we be afraid?
Dude, if you're in the middle of the desert talking to a book, then yeah, you'd be better be pretty fucking afraid, you know. So yeah, then the book disappears. Breen go to visit the old biddy shrink again, you know, mystical shrink, and it's just like a post-it note over the sign on the door that says "No longer here." That's really fucking official, isn't it? And then we see the biddy shrink vanish, disappear. It's like, who is she? Some kind of fucking spiritual mentor from the Nether realm or something. Then we're back to the Breen house. Breen and Leah are back in bed. Black Shoes shows up at the house again. He pisses blood on the carpet, then he fucking disappears, vanishes. Like the climax of the movie, Breen holds a press conference.
I've been hacking into government and corporate systems all over the country.
How does this random dude calls a press conference, and like all the media shows up in this crowd that you don't see, and he just starts, and he stood outside of what looks like a courthouse. It's very unconvincing fucking green screen, telling everyone how he's hacked into all the government and corporate files and shit. And he's going to expose all this. They keep giving him a round of applause and shit, and it's retarded.
I have discovered more information than any hacker ever has. Ever. What I have found will shock you.
It's like, look, if hacking is they don't take hacking lightly in America post 9/11. I mean, even before that, but now, fucking hell. You know, you're going to hold a press conference telling this. And the thing is, they've got like all these like corporate heads and politicians there as well, and they're all like stood next to each other in a little gang going like, yeah, this dude's a cunt, isn't he? What the fuck? He's going to make a great ass of himself. And he says, oh, then Breen starts going about, it's got all the, it's got the fucking, the files and the corroborating.
Here are the files and supporting documents. And supporting truths. The factual documents.
All on this little flash drive he's got in his hand. And then all these bigwigs, these corrupt politicians and corporate wankers, one by one they confess. So they all confess to their fucking sins. And then they kill themselves.
I'm afraid of going to prison. They now know my crimes.
See the muzzle flash, but it don't cut away at that very moment. It's like about a second or so it stays on. The muzzle flash, and there's no bullet wound or anything. You don't shit, just like yeah. So one by one, they keep just straight up admit to it and how like corrupt and that they are, and systematically it shows them topping themselves. So like the final scene in the film after this press conference where Neil Breen saves the world. It just shows Breen and Leah walking through the woods like they did when they were children. And Breen hears the ghost fart and like looks over his shoulder, and then just turns back and they start walking off again, and you just see the ghost fart waft by him, behind him. I've no idea what that fucking means. I've no idea what any of this fucking means. But yeah, that was Fateful Findings, and my god. Everything in this film is terrible. The acting is fucking the worst ever. It's like they just fed the script into Siri And then Siri's saying it back at them. I cannot believe you committed suicide. How can you have done this? How can you have committed suicide? Fuck all emotion in this anywhere. This is a total mental wank, as are all Neil Breen films from what I understand. I haven't seen any others, but I'm going to have to at some point, aren't I? All the women in this want to fuck Neil Breen. This is just Neil Breen casting young hot women to play his, you know, his romantic interests. Not to mention having the daughter want to fuck him as well, the daughter of Jim and Hot Tits. And him showing how morally right on he is by saying, no, you can't do this anymore. And you know, besides all that, having all these supernatural abilities and saving the world from fucking the corruption of politics and big business. Oh man, this is an experience. Yeah, watch this. I guess the best way to watch this is with friends and alcohol or your substance of choice. For me, just to watch it on my own, I did have to start drinking at one point. But yeah, this movie is fucking awful. Fateful Findings is a fucking nonsensical turd of a film. Oh man, it's just such self-indulgent wankerage on every level. Awfully entertaining. I mean, I don't mean that in... Oh, it's awfully entertaining. I mean, it's awful to the point where it's entertaining. But again, like I said with Tommy Wiseau, I do admire Neil Breen's tenacity and the fact he's gone out and made his films. You know, he's made 4 films now, and they're all relatively the same story from what I can gather. You know, Neil Breen's a superhuman with powers and fucking hell. But yeah, that was Fateful Findings. It is fucking... It's an experience. It's definitely an experience. Yeah, this review's over. I feel like my soul's falling out my bumhole. I daren't fart in case my skeleton comes out my ass. Ah, yeah. But yeah, Fateful Findings. Yeah, who knows what you'll find. Anyway, until next time. What the fuck with that? It's a magical day.
Fuck you! Fuck you! Fuck your mother!